Hey there friends, welcome to another video from the garage. Today we're going to be working on the Mercedes Sprinter van, and what we're going to be doing is actually replacing the rear light right here in the back of the van. This is actually a pretty simple project. I'm going to show you how to remove the casing and switch out the bulb. And this is going to work for the reverse lights or any of the lights that were housed within this specific casing on these Sprinter vans. We're using a 2012 2500 extended base Sprinter, but again, it's going to work very, very similar for most of these models. All right, let's get started. Okay, here is our Sprinter van, and again, as I mentioned, the housing for the rear lights are right here. Within here, there's obviously multiple bulbs, and what we're going to do is just actually pull off this whole casing. We can bring it in the house, and that will give us a little better access to work on this guy. So obviously the first thing to do is to open up our back doors here, and that will allow us access to some screws that keep this in place. Okay, this is the back of our van here. Obviously, it's a little bit decked out here for adventure. And basically over here on the left, you can see is the whole light casing. Now, the casing is basically held in by some Torx screws. We've got one here. There's one in the middle that's already been taken out. And then there's one down here on the bottom. And this is just right in back of this little rubber seal. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be coming over here. I've got my Ryobi drill just to make this a little bit easier, but this can be done with a little hand screwdriver. And then we have our little Torx bit, and this is a T25. So you can pick up one of those. Again, I've got this little extension rod just to be able to get inside of the rubberized seals over there a little bit easier and get to that screw. Okay, as you can see, those screws are not very deep. Again, you should have 3 of them over here on the left side. Okay, with those screws out, you should be able to just come in, wriggle this free. Again, do not go yanking this because it is still held in by the lighting wiring. So I'm actually just going to move this away, and we can close the door and be able to undo this little bracket that's holding the wiring into this main unit. Okay, now this is one of the more difficult parts. In order to get this wiring harness out, basically there's 2 little clips. There's one on this side and one on this side, those little tabs. Those need to be pushed in at the exact same time, and then you can pull this out. I'm actually gonna need 2 hands to do that, and I'll pull it straight out of the casing here, and we can bring this whole unit inside. Okay, there we go. Wiring harness is out. Okay, we brought the lighting assembly into the house here so we can work on it. Without our hands getting cold out here in the weather. Basically what we need to do now is take off this little panel that's clipped into the main lighting housing here. And it's just held on by a bunch of little clips here. You can see there's one here, one's on the end, down here below. So we're just gonna separate these guys out. Again, this is gonna take 2 hands, and then this whole piece will just pull straight out. Okay, once you have those clips separated, like I said, this thing will just pop right out. Be careful, some of these pieces can get a little bit brittle. In fact, I did end up snapping one of the little guys right here on this end. Again, not a big deal because there's a ton others that hold this thing in. But again, be careful when you're wriggling that out. And then we can just pull this out, and you can see all of our bulbs are right here. Okay, so with the bulbs laid out here, we can check and see which bulb is which. Basically from the top here, these are the brake lights, I believe. I know these are the running lights right here in the middle, and I believe this is what our culprit is. We've got our turn signal lights that are here. These are gonna be the reverse lights, I believe. You can see we have the LED bulb there, and then down here, I believe these are the fog lights. Again, make sure you check with your specific model to ensure that is what is what. Again, our running lights are not working. If I come down this bulb, you can actually see on the right-hand side, it is definitely burnt out. So this is the culprit. In order to get these out, you can see they have 2 little tabs down in there. I'm just gonna push this down, I'm gonna twist, and as you can see, that little notch lines up, and we can pull this guy out. This will also give us our specific bulb that we need to purchase. You can see again for our specific van, there are those markings. I'm gonna go ahead and look this guy up on Amazon, see if we can't order something, and I'll put a link in the description box below for these specific bulbs. So as you can see, this is 5007 RW there. We're going to go a little bit further, 12 volt, and you can see the basically 37R2LR. That's the markings that are on this specific bulb. Okay, so I am on my Amazon account. Just wanted to show you there are some good options, it looks like. Again, for us, we might go with that second choice right here, $695 for 2 different bulbs. Again, it's that 12 volt 5007. Looks like it lines up perfectly, R5W. Again, I'll put a link in the description box below if you want to go directly to that. Your other option is to just grab the bulb like we had before. Again, we're looking for that 5007. And this I picked up at a local auto parts store for about $7. Okay, from this point, we're gonna reverse those steps. First thing is to obviously put our lighting assembly back into the main casing here. Again, we'll go along and we'll just make sure all these are nice and snapped into place. Again, use some caution. These can get brittle over time, these little clips here. Okay, those are snapped back into place. And now we need to, again, mount this back onto the van. Okay, back out here at the van, first thing we obviously need to do is put this wiring harness back into its specific slot. Okay, once the wiring is back in, we're then gonna slot these little grooves that are over here. There's 3 of them. There's one right here, in the middle, and down at the bottom. Those are gonna slot right into these guys over here on the left-hand side of the casing area. Okay, back on the inside of the door, we're gonna push this flush and we're gonna get our screws back in here. And again, remember, we've got 3, one in the middle and then one in the bottom there. Okay, so there you go. We've got our housing back in place. Last thing to do is test the light out. Okay, so we're up here in the cockpit. Let's go ahead and turn the lights on and check it out. Okay, there you go. We have got our running lights back up and good to go. I did confirm that these are the backwards fog lights, the rear fog lights. Again, we've got our reverse lights, we've got the running lights, we've got our blinker, our turn signal, and then we have the brake lights. So I hope that helps, friends. If it does, would you guys please hit that thumbs up button for us. Let us know we're making helpful videos. Stay tuned. We're making a bunch more of these Sprinter van videos. Those will be coming out really, really soon. Subscribe, and we will see you again on the next one.